Greetings. My name is Vogel Denise Newsome, and I am a community activist, civil rights activist. Welcome to our website and this particular web page, where we have pretty much devoted it to what we call the employer's wall of shame. So we are going to be addressing some of our Equal Employment Opportunity Commission charges and complaints that have been filed, also known as the EEOC. We, in this particular video, will be talking about, for instance, the first Heritage Credit EEOC charge that was filed on or about February 9, 2015. For those who don't know, you have about approximately 180 days to file your EEOC charge, if that's the avenue that you want to pursue. So what we did was we decided we would get one filed. But the 180th day fell on the weekend. So therefore, we had until the next business day, which was Monday, to get our EEOC charge filed. So we were there on or about February 9, 2015 to file our EEOC charge. Well, the EEOC, especially this house Negro they have in there, yes, that's the way we roll. We just like to keep it real. They have a house Negro in the Jackson, Mississippi area office by the name of Wilma Jones Scott. She's familiar with me. Then the EEOC's Klan, Zionist control law firm of Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz, they're familiar with me. They've only been stalking me for well over 20 years. Basically, it seems like picking me up right out of Florida A&M University. Okay? But anyway, they knew from my track record in stalking me for all these years that most likely I would be in there before the 180th day or the 180th day, keeping in mind the statute of limitations to get it filed. So when I showed up, they gave me this excuse, it could have been legit, that the EEOC system was down so they couldn't take my charge. And so they were very adamant about trying to get me out of there with no evidence, without evidence to show that I was there in good faith to file the EEOC charge. That's what I thought was very strange, okay? But just like they were adamant about getting me out of there, and being very persistent about it, I was persistent and very adamant about getting some documentation like my form, intake form or whatever, stamped to show that I was there. So I did get a stamped, filed copy of that form and was actually returned later on in the week. So I did return later on in the week to get it filed. The guy remembered me, the intake clerk remembered me, and took my EEOC complaint. What was the whispering and the talking about? Well, my complaint was typewritten, 300 plus pages with supporting exhibits. So for those who don't know, yes, by law, you don't have to just use that form that they give you when you go in. No. You can handwrite it or you can type it out. In my case, I typed it out. It doesn't have to be 300 plus pages. But in my case, it had to be that because I'm also addressing what's called systematic discrimination, a pattern of practice. I'm talking about being stalked from state to state, city to city, job to job, by the likes of Zionists and white supremacists, private-owned corporations. It's illegal, but that's what they have done for well over 25 years. So the thing is, I needed to put the evidence in there to support that. But not only that, that I, in good faith, went to the proper law enforcement agencies to report these civil and criminal violations to no avail. So when I submitted that, the intake clerk took it. But like I said, there was whispering and talking. So that right from the get-go, flags went up that the EEOC wanted to be lazy and that they would be conspiring with the likes of First Heritage Credit, the employer that I brought the charge against. And so lo and behold, on about the 20th of February 2015, here goes the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission's area manager, Wilma Jones Scott, issuing a dismissal and notice of right for me to sue. Who? First Heritage Credit Union. Now, I don't know if that's another name, an alias for First Heritage Credit, but it was issued on First Heritage Credit Union, okay, alleging untimely filed. Okay, but this is the foolishness that I had to deal with. And they probably have pulled this, you may know of somebody, they have pulled the same foolishness on, and who probably just gave up and left. But for those who don't know, that is also a civil violation, a criminal violation. Why? Because if they are engaging in any type of conspiracies, they can be held accountable. That's the way I'm rolling. So I put it out there on the video. Okay? Did Wilma Jones Scott aid and abet? I was told that First Heritage Credit filed an answer to my EEOC charge. So I have since asked for that. So here we are in 2016. Hadn't heard anything. Okay, because after that incident happened, I was told I needed to file a request to reopen the charge. So that's what I did. I timely filed a request to reopen the charge. But not only that, I just didn't do that one thing. I also submitted an appeal to the EEOC in Washington, D.C., to their office in Washington, D.C. November 2016, I hadn't even heard from them. So what I did, 2 days before, I guess you say, the elections, I submitted correspondence to the district manager in Birmingham, Alabama, Delano Franklin Thomas. Why? Because I was told the case was transferred to the Birmingham district office. So I submitted my request to check on the status of the charge. And lo and behold, I get correspondence from Ms. Delano advising me or apologizing for the inadvertent delay, so they claim. And then just eager to jump on the bandwagon that my time has run out for me to file a lawsuit in court. Okay? That I may want to plead, for instance, paraphrasing it, with the court, giving the circumstances. Maybe they will allow me to go ahead and file a complaint in court. But see, what they didn't know, see, this was all a part of their game, was that they had issued a dismissal and notice of right against First Heritage Credit Union, not First Heritage Credit. And so I, in my response, asked, are they one and the same? But not only that, she confirmed that I filed my EEOC charge in a timely manner, that I was correct in getting it filed, so it was not untimely filed. So a revocation in regards to the dismissal and notice of right was issued, revoking it. But yet it's still here. They were trying to force me now to bring a lawsuit in court. So I have already responded and let them know, because a lot of you all need to know. They tried to give you all the impression that in order to bring a federal lawsuit in court, you have to first file a charge with the EEOC, but there are exceptions. So on this website, we are going to provide you with not only the 300+ page complaint and supporting exhibits, but our correspondence to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, EEOC, showing how they went about handling my charge, how it's been in violation not only of EEOC guidelines and policies, but in violation of federal statutes and laws. Okay? So we're waiting now just to get some feedback from them, because in responding to Ms. Delano's letter of November 15th, 2016, we asked them to also advise us of any conflicts of interest as it relates to law firms as Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz. Again, for those who don't know, Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz is the law firm that is legal counsel to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the Department of Labor, the Department of Justice, the CIA, the FBI, Homeland Security. And why is that important? Because when people think that discrimination complaints or Title VII violations are minute or small, they are very critical, because the laws are clear that when you don't address these issues as I do in my EEOC charge, yes, the likes of the Klans law firm, Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz, and their clients, as you know, like First Heritage Credit and others, go on to engage in other crimes and activities. For instance, I'll give you an example. You all remember what they call the 9/11 attacks on the World Trade Centers in New York, as well as other attacks they allege? Well, the Jewish or Zionist-controlled media painted that was carried out by a terrorist by the name of Osama bin Laden. But yours truly, I'm here to let you all know, that was nothing but a bold-faced lie. From my research and from my personal experience, it appears it was none other than the Klan's law firm, a Zionist-controlled law firm by the name of Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz. They planned, orchestrated, and carried out those attacks, and then they like to use fronting people, like the Osama bin Laden, to cover up their domestic terrorist attacks, not here only in the United States of America, but abroad. So it's important to know that when you don't address issues, as those in my EEOC charge, not only in the first heritage credit complaint, but other charges that were filed not only with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, but in federal court, the laws are clear that they will go on to commit and engage in other criminal activities. And that's just what it appears the Klan and the Zionist-controlled law firm of Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz has been doing. Not only that, they're legal counsel to the executive branch. So yes, to President Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, congressional members, United States Senator, United States Representatives, the Supreme Court of United States Justices. They have basically been running and controlling this despotism government of the United States. And we are here to share with the public and the world how we want to overthrow, by law, this despotism government regime of the United States. We want a government that works for the people, especially the African Americans, the blacks, the coloreds, the Negroes. They just laugh at these people because they think they're ignorant, stupid, and dumb. Why? Because these are the people that are what you call color struck. See, all they have to do is see someone in office that kind of look like them, like Michelle and Barack Obama, and they just believe they mean them well. And then hate people or despise people like me for telling them the truth. Okay? But I'm not here to play patty cake with Michelle Obama or Barack Obama. They have been in office for 8 years and they have lied. And not only that, it appears engaged in conspiracies with the like of the Jewish Zionists and Ku Klux Klan's law firm that's out here controlling and attacking their communities, attacking their livelihood, attacking their job opportunities. Okay? All of this is by design. They have their corporate office or their corporation set up in what they call DC, the District of Columbia. As you all know, that's not even a state. Okay? But that district was set up basically for the likes of the Ku Klux Klan in their corporation. Okay? In order to circumvent laws like the Ku Klux Klan Act of 1871. But we aren't going to get ahead of ourselves on that. We're going to have other sections of our website addressing that. We are just going to, on this particular web page, address, like I said, employment violations. So, for instance, if you're working for a private employer or corporation and you're paid on the 15th and the last day of the month, yes, we're going to even put up a complaint to show you if they are not paying you correctly, because that's also a scam. And most likely you're being cheated. So we're going to put up a complaint that the EEOC was provided with some years ago. Yes, with Wilma Jones Scott at the helm of the ship. When I brought an EEOC charge complaint against this law firm called Mitchell, McNutt and Sams, paid on the 15th in the last day of the month, setting out those violations. So please, I want y'all to come back, because we're talking about major class action lawsuits. But not only that, the despotism government regime of the United States knowing about this scam, robbing employees of perhaps their wages. So if you're paid on the 15th or the last day of the month, you come back. But let's get back to the first heritage credit situation. That's the one we're going to be addressing because, again, it's over 300 pages with supporting exhibits. It's going to show a pattern. But not only that, we're going to address a lot of things. For instance, in it, because Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz is legal counsel to the President of the United States. They are legal counsel to the Department of Labor, the Department of Justice, the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. We want that. We address that in the 300+ page complaint. We have also asked the EEOC to inform us whether or not a conflict of interest exists in its handling of the First Heritage Credit matter. Why? Because we're entitled to know that. Okay? We want First Heritage Credit's response to that EEOC charge. Because last year in February, it was brought to my attention that First Heritage Credit did respond. So I'm waiting and looking forward to their response to that 300+ page complaint and supporting exhibits. Also, as I shared, when you don't stop employment discrimination cases like this, then law firms, as the Clarence law firm, Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz, go on to commit or engage in other criminal activities as the World Trade Center bombings. How do you know, Ms. Newsome? Because I left to go work for a Jewish Zionist-controlled law firm in Cincinnati, Ohio, by the name of Wood and Lamping. I even flew to D.C. in December 2008, a month after President Barack Obama won the 2008 presidential election, so they allege. And I went to go meet with Senator Patrick Leahy and Congressman Conyers. Need I tell you what those cowards did? See, I use that word cowards. Yes, they ran and hid on me when I got up there. I didn't fly up there for that foolishness. This is supposed to be the most powerful country, and this is the way their congressional members act. So why is this EEOC complaint so important? Because it addresses that. Okay? People want to know, for instance, about the birthing issue. Donald Trump backing off of it. Well, again, one guess who the law firm is that represents what they say the Citizenship Immigration Department, Homeland Security. That's correct. Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz. Again, the Department of Justice, the CIA, and the FBI. So they have been orchestrating and running, it appears, controlling this government for quite some time. The Klan, the Jewish Zionist members, and we are here to expose things like that so the public can see why this country has fallen, why it has gone down. While they were so busy building up their empires, monopolizing everything. And you all know monopolies are forbidden. This is the reason why the United States is in the condition it's in. Because they have set up their corporate headquarters in D.C., the District of Columbia. It's just a district, it's not a state. And they set up that corporation to mask the name of the United States of America. And they have been doing business out of the District of Columbia. That's illegal. By law, we have a legal and lawful duty to overthrow the despotism government of the United States under the Declaration of Independence, which allows for overthrowing such regimes for despotism, political corruption, racial discrimination, and other issues as I addressed in my EEOC charge. See, you all didn't know that. Think about it. When these white founding fathers drafted the Declaration of Independence in 1776, asking for their independence from Great Britain, hello? Well, we are going to use that same. So we're already in the process of drafting the Declaration, requesting our independence, freedom, and separation from this despotism government regime, all within the law. Do you all think I used my 10 or 15 years working for these big prominent law firms like Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz and not learn anything? Even Baker Donaldson said, Ms. Newsome doesn't need a lawyer. She knows the law. Ooh, what are you talking about, Ms. Newsome? Yes. They were stupid enough to make an appearance in the Newsome versus Entergy Corporation matter when I was living in New Orleans, Louisiana. Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz entered in an appearance as legal counsel for Entergy Corporation. They took a slacking so bad in that lawsuit, they threatened my attorney. It appears they had her withdraw illegally, leaving me to have to proceed pro se, which means representing myself. Do you think I backed down off the Clarence law firm? No. Shellacked them in good fashion. Shellacked them so bad, guess what they had to do? Ms. Newsome, what they have to do? It appears they engaged in bribery blackmail. of the judges in that matter. Maury Sears, as well as G. Thomas Portis. In fact, for those who don't know, yes, I reported it to the correct agency, the United States Department of Justice. To date, I haven't heard anything. Okay? But guess what they did when I requested investigation in that? They covered it all up, but they threw, it appears, G. Thomas Portis out under the bus. He has since been removed and impeached from the federal bench. G. Thomas Portis, who, if you go to the Klan's law firm of Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz website, they probably scrubbed it, but I mean, they have this, they like to, boast about the little powers that they have and positions they control and run. And there is the judge right on their web page of the list of judges, basically, that they control and run. Maury Sears is on there. So these are the things that I believe you all need to know. You see, I also worked on the payouts in the World Trade Center bombings when I was in Cincinnati, Ohio. And when President Barack Obama and the Klan's law firm of Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz found that out, they went to work. I went to go work for a firm called the Garrison Firm Resolution Group through an employment agency called Messina Staffing. Messina Staffing, yes. Related, appears, and affiliated with Jim Messina, President Barack Obama's, one of President Barack Obama's advisors, right there in the White House. So when they found out I was working that, what did they do? Got all involved and had me terminated from that job. And then when I went to go post the information on YouTube, because the Jews and the Zionists control that, they had it scrubbed and removed from YouTube. And then had audacity to have the Garrison Firm Resolution Group slap me with the lawsuit. It's going to be put out here for everybody to see. Now, I don't have time to entertain that type of foolishness. See, I'm not afraid of them. I am not afraid of the likes of the Klans or the Jews and the Zionists. They are coming and picking on the wrong African. And they wanted you all to think that civil rights leaders like Medgar Evers was a problem. So you see how he was gunned down and slaughtered in his driveway? They wanted you all to think Malcolm X was loony. So they used the Zionist-controlled media to turn his own against him, and the FBI, it appears, orchestrated that and got him knocked out of the way. And then Martin Luther King used some look like appears from history, this house Negro by the name of Jesse Jackson, to get him out of the way. And then went on, it looks like, paid him, gave him what? Rainbow Coalition push. So when you have pioneers like that, ancestors like that were willing to put their lives on the line for a better way of life and livelihood, how is it that we can just sit up here and let their blood, the blood they lost, go in vain? I'm just not the one. I'm not the one. I'm here to deal with the likes of the Jews and the Zionists. I'm here to deal with the likes of the Ku Klux Klan. Because, see, again, the law is here. And see, what they don't understand, it's important that we put information out here like this, that we share with international government and world leaders and citizens. Because when you keep it contained in a small box, it allows them to form all these monopolies that they formed over the years. These big telecommunication giants, these big financial institution monopolies. And who's at the helm of the ship? The Jews and the Zionists and the likes of the Klan's law firm. So by law, they've got to dismantle the law. They have come in using laws like integration, desegregation, where the Klans put their people in there, pulled off their little hoods and put on the business suits, put their people in the legislation so they can write the laws like integration, desegregation to gain access to our communities, to take us down from the inside. See? That's evidence that we need. Ms. Newsome, how do you know so much? For those who don't know, for about 10 or 15 years, I worked for these big prominent white law firms like Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz. I was not white institutionalized at Harvard University like Michelle Obama and Barack Obama. No, I went to 2 HBCUs. I went 2 years at Mississippi Valley State University in Itta Bena, Mississippi. And after 2 years, ranking as one of the top athletes for the United States in track and field, I transferred to Florida A&M University in Tallahassee, Florida. And that's where I obtained my degree. And let's just put it this way. They put the information in me well. There's a lot of people that's come out of HBCUs that's in political position, government positions, that's gone on to become House Negroes. But as for far from me, that's one thing I just never really wanted to do. I never really wanted to serve in the military, and I never really wanted to work for a government agency. Okay, because there's one thing I was not going to do, was sell out my integrity and my morals for a job. And because of that tenacity, I have become a target by the likes of the Jews, the Zionists, in the Klan's law firm of Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, Berkowitz. They've come after my jobs. They've come after my bank accounts. Yes, all up under the watch. Before Obama and during his administration. And yes, United States President Barack Obama is aware of that. And we are not here to play with that, House Negro. The EEOC charge complaint that we filed last year about Donald Trump and them are backing off. No, it's right on up in there. It's right on up in there. So just like in February of 2015, in our 300+ page complaint, the systematic discrimination, we lay it all out. Yes, we even served the President of the United States, President Barack Obama, with eviction, the pink slip, stating the reason why we were asking him to vacate office. And this was on about January 10, 2012. And as you see, he's still in there. He was only going to do 4 terms. They were going to put Mitt Romney in 2012, for those who don't know. You all are looking at the reason why they pulled the plug on him. And again, we will put the evidence out there for you all to see. That was no mistake of Mitt Romney releasing his presidential website on or about November 11, 2012. That was no mistake. No. We put about 5 documents up in our SlideShare form or out in our social forms. One being stamped the day, Monday, before, from the Supreme Court of the United States on November the 5th, 2012. And the next day, they pulled the plug on Mitt Romney. That's why he didn't have his concession speech, you all. That's why, Michelle and the girls were not with Barack Obama. They had to kind of rush him over there. Barack Obama was hoping for a miracle. He had his concession speech and his victory speech. Mitt Romney only had one. And that's why he was so distraught when they had to pull the plug and try to explain to him why they pulled him on him at the last minute. So they waited another 4 years, and now they got the likes of Donald Trump. So what you going to do about Obama's birthday issue? Well, in that EEOC charge, go out on my website, the calendar of events, April 2011, it's there. The day that Kentucky Senator Rand Paul's office called me on April the 22nd, 2011. In receipt of my request to start some investigation into the Barack Obama administration. And we're going to address those issues as well. But see, when you have congressional members aware of the crimes, contacting you about investigations and then dropping the plug, that was 4 years ago, April 22nd, 2011. I'm sorry. That was 5 years ago. And then about 5 days later, here he comes, releasing a fake forged certificate of live birth. Not to say he wasn't a citizen. I was like other people. I thought they just didn't want this black man in there. That's why they were making such a fuss. You know, when he was stupid enough to release the certificate of live birth or birth certificate, I went out there to look at it, to see what all the fuss was about. Putting my paralegal skills to work, and sure enough, you can see where they had placed it on a simulated background. You can see the forgery. That's just how stupid they thought you all were. And think about it. This is a man, President Barack Obama, who first was a state senator for Illinois before he went on to be a United States senator. A man who had traveled abroad, that had to have a passport. And to get your passport, you need what? one of the forms you need is your birth certificate. So why in April 2011 did he go through this hoopla about, send me a copy of my birth certificate, asking the Department of Hawaii to send him a copy of his birth certificate. Why the performance? Why the drama? So 5 days later when he released it, of course I'm going to go out there and look at it. And sure enough, it appears it is fake and forged. One guess who the law firm is that represents the Citizenship and Immigration Department, as well as Homeland Security for the United States. That's correct. None other than the Klans law firm of Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz, the same law firm that's legal counsel to United States President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. And then a few days later, here they go, saying they killed Osama bin Laden. And for those who don't know, remember they didn't show the photos? And they said they buried him at sea according to Muslim tradition. And it wasn't even a Muslim tradition. That's what they said. Then they used the branch of the military called the Navy. Raymond Mavis, the former governor of the state of Mississippi, an employee of the law firm of Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz. So like I said, it's important that we put this information out. We want you all to look at that EEOC charge against First Heritage Credit. That's why we're putting it up, so that you all can see. So when they're asking, Donald Trump, what about the birth issue? The day after he released that fake forged certificate of live birth on about April 27, 2011, the very next day, here go Donald Trump, here go the Zionists and the white supremacists controlled media, setting up the cameras for him to take credit. That's why we put the calendar of events showing what was done, the pressure that was put on them. And apparently that's one of the first things they were concerned would come out in an investigation. But of course, Baker Donaldson's legal counsel manipulating all these agencies, the FBI, the CIA, Homeland Security, Congress, the executive branch, the Supreme Court of the United States. These are things that you all didn't know. My question to you all, coming out to my website, visiting my social forums, seeing the evidence and seeing the proof, because I remember, if I'm not mistaken, in 2011 when, like I said, they used Donald Trump to try to take credit for Obama releasing his birth certificate. He made some statement saying he's going to go and look at it. They've got to look at it. Okay, that's 2011. 5 years later, hello, haven't you had a chance to look at it? Did you not see the same discrepancies I found? Why haven't you said anything? Why haven't you reported this? Okay? And what you all need to know that in January 2012, like I said, we issued an eviction notice, a pink slip on the President of the United States, Barack Obama, because he's a public official. He's supposed to be. But see, they're operating up under this despotism government regime, so he's still in office. So by law, we have a legal and lawful duty to throw him out. Overthrow. Okay? Listen. He was served with eviction with a pink slip. Certified mail return receipt. Do you all think they returned that green card to me? No. Engaged in criminal activities. Sure did. Tore up that green card. That's mail tampering. That's a criminal act with a lot of other crimes. And once I contacted the international government and world leaders, guess what they do? Guess what they do? They're stupid enough. Take it back together and send it to me in the mail. So you'll see that on the website or out of my social forums with the White House stamp on it. Yes. And at that same time, United States Kentucky Senator Rand Paul was served. The Joint Chief of Staff, Michael Mullen, was served. The Supreme Court, previously prior to They were asked to vacate, but they're still up in there. So why is this so important, Ms. Newsome? Was because, see, we found in the EEOC charge that they said they're reopening, we're going to put the guidelines and the procedures for the way the EEOC is supposed to handle their investigations. This is information that's in the EEOC charge, that 300-page plus complaint, the supporting exhibits. This is information that's in there. We provide the evidence and the information to support the systematic discrimination. Not only that, the roles, the impact of the Zionists and the Klan-controlled law firm of Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, Berkowitz. And the laws are clear that when law enforcement agencies like the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, EEOC, where they don't enforce the laws and they don't report it, they don't publicize it, for some reason it gives the likes of Baker, Donaldson, and them the idea that they can go on and continue to engage in such terrorist acts as the 9/11. They can continue to discriminate. They can continue to take down black neighborhoods. They can continue to attack our educational structures in our schools because they want to destroy the education system in the black community so that they can educate us, or they can put us back in chains. The very processes that they use in putting on these disguises, going on in disguise on the highway in their sheriff uniforms, police uniforms, judges' robes. It's all in violation of the Ku Klux Klan Act of 1871. So this year, 2016, when they were just slaughtering and gunning down these blacks, African-American brothers and different ones, that was in violation of the Ku Klux Klan Act of 1871, and they can be held liable. But then they were using the law. They were using their corporate status and organization, their little district there, to plan to organize these attacks on us. Right up in D.C., the District of Columbia, which was basically formed right about the same time, the same era of the Ku Klux Klan Act of 1871. So it was designed to circumvent the laws that were passed to protect blacks, Africans, coloreds, Negroes. But we are here to address those issues in a 300-plus complaint with supporting exhibits. We believe you will see that if you want to, if you really want to know the truth. So work with me. As I shared, the pink slip has been served on United States President Barack Obama, along with the charge on the documentation asking him to vacate the office. So regardless if they put Trump in it, that's all illegal. By law, we can now legally and lawfully overthrow the despotism government regime. By law, we are going to be submitting our Declaration of Independence, Freedom, and Separation, if you want to call it that, from United States despotism government, just like their white founding fathers asked for their Declaration of Independence from Great Britain in 1776. So while they were out here stalking me for 25 plus years, we were out here building the case for our request and declaration for freedom, independence, and separation. Thank you for stopping by this website. Thank you for stopping by this blog. We hope you enjoy this forum. And if your civil rights have been violated with these employers, we hope that you find the complaints and the charges filed very beneficial to you and that you share it with others. You can use them as a model or form to bring charges on your own behalf or class action lawsuits against your employers. But understand, under the judicial system that's being now controlled by the likes of the Zionists and the Ku Klux Klan's law firm of Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, Berkowitz, this is how critical it is to get you knowledgeable as to what's going on, to get you educated as to what's going on, and to get your support, be it morally as well as financial. Donations are very, very, very much encouraged so that you can see with the financial donations, again, progressing and moving right along. Thank you for your time. Please feel free to contact